Hi guys, welcome back to my channel where I teach you how to crochet. Today we're going to be making this dress. So we're going to be using 6 skeins of yarn. What I like to do when I have a lot of yarn is check the lot number, which I've explained multiple times in multiple videos. So it literally says on this one, lot number, it's backwards, but lot number and then the number there. All my skeins should have the same number, and if it doesn't, that means the color variations might be slightly different, which can sometimes be very noticeable and ruin your work, which I've learned many times before. So I got this yarn from Amazon. It's very gorgeous. I love it so much. It is acrylic yarn, which I don't really like making dresses out of acrylic yarn, but because this is a very tight dress, it doesn't really matter if it's cotton or acrylic because it's not going to give you that flowy look. I feel like it would look slightly better with cotton yarn, but like it doesn't really make that much of a difference for this project. In other projects, I always use cotton yarn. We'll also be using a tape measure, 3mm crochet hook, scissors, tapestry needles. We'll also be using stitch markers. So my waist is 33 inches and my hips are 35 inches. So we're just going to increase for my hips, and I'm going to show you how to do that. For cup size, I would say it depends on how much coverage you actually want. Some want a little more, some want a little less, but we're going to go over that in the tutorial. I feel like I just cut to the part where I'm explaining the dress without doing a good transition, so let's start making the dress. You make a slip knot and chain 30. 30 gives me the coverage I want, but if you want more, you can chain more. If you want less, you can chain less. In the third chain from your hook, you place 1 half double crochet. You then place half double crochets in each chain. Make sure you don't forget the last chain. When you're done, chain 2 and turn your work. You then begin to place half double crochets in each stitch. You do this 5 more times. In total, you should have 7 rows. When you get to the end of each row, you chain 2 and flip your work. When our 7 rows are completed, we can now start our decreases. The only thing that changes is how we start and end our rows. Instead of chaining 2, you place 1 half double crochet in the second stitch like so. You continue the round as normal until you get to the end. When you get to the end, you don't place a half double crochet in the last stitch. Instead, you flip your work and place 1 half double crochet in a second stitch. You crochet as normal until you get to the last stitch. You skip that stitch and go into the second stitch of the next row. You follow this pattern until you get to the last 2 stitches. Your cup should look something like this. I now only have 4 half double crochets left, so this will be my last row. I skip the first stitch and place 1 half double crochet. I then place another half double crochet and skip the last stitch. I have 2 half double crochets left, so now I flip my work and chain 80. If you only have 1 stitch left, that's fine. You cut your yarn and pull through. We then reattach our yarn. We then place single crochet stitches on the perimeter of the bralette. This just makes it look neater. Hold any tail ends and crochet over them like so, we're weaving them in as we go along. When you get to the last chain, you place 3 single crochet stitches in it. This just makes it look neater. You continue placing single crochet stitches in each chain. You place your last single crochet stitch and you chain 1. You cut your yarn and pull through. When both cups are done, you slip stitch them together like so. You attach the yarn to one of the cups. You then chain 2, turn your work and begin placing half double crochets in each stitch. Hold any tail ends in place, doing a half double crochet over them to weave them in as we go along. You place your last half double crochet in the last stitch. You chain 2 and flip your work. You then begin placing half double crochets in the next row. You continue this pattern. In total, you should have 7 rows. This is me finishing my 7th row. Your 8th row will look a little bit different. You start off by chaining 2, turning your work and placing 1 half double crochet in the next stitch. You then chain 1 and skip the next half double crochet stitch. You place a half double crochet stitch in the next stitch beside the one you just skipped. You continue the row as normal, placing half double crochet stitches in each stitch until you get to the end. You chain 1 and skip 1 half double crochet. You then place 2 half double crochets in the last 2 stitches. After the 8th row, you do 2 more rows. In total, you should have 10 rows. Now we can start the bottom portion of the dress. The front panel of the dress and the chain should equal 33 inches because that's how much my waist measures. We slip stitch the chain into the opposite side of the dress, chain 2 and turn our work. We then begin placing half double crochets in each chain. When you come to the end of the chain, you can then begin placing half double crochets on top of the other half double crochets. You can slightly twist it as so to make sure everything stays straight. When you come to the end of your row, you slip stitch into the first stitch. You then chain 2 and turn your work. This is how you start and end each row. I did 10 rows before I started adding my increases. When I increase, I use my stitch markers to mark similar spots on the opposite sides of my dresses and skirts. When that's done, I begin my row as normal, placing half double crochets in each stitch. I begin my roll as normal, however when I get to my stitch marker I place 2 half double crochets in the exact same stitch and then I continue my roll as normal. Usually when I do it, I take out my stitch marker and place it on the next row. This is so I remember where my increase is. You make sure you do this on the opposite side as well. Increases should always be in the same spot. I increased for about 5 rows and then I stopped increasing and started doing my rounds as normal. When you are happy with the length of your dress, you can now start your ruffles. So I'm just finishing my last row. Instead of chaining 2, this time you chain 3. We'll now be working with double crochet. Turn your work and place 2 double crochets in the next space. The chain 3 counts as your third crochet stitch. In the next stitch you place 2 double crochets. and then in the next half double crochet you place 3 double crochets in that stitch. You can kind of see the pattern now. It's 3 double crochets and then 2 double crochets, 3 double crochets and then 2 double crochets. Continue this pattern until you get to the end. You end the row the same, slip stitching into the first stitch. You chain 3 again and turn your work. This time you just place 1 double crochet in each stitch. After this row you do 1 more row exactly the same way as this. So in total you should have 3 rows. I actually ran out of yarn halfway through making this dress, so I only did 2 other ruffled rows. The ruffled rows, the spacing has to be the same or it's gonna look weird. So I did every ruffled row on every 4th row. But to do a ruffled row on the body of the dress, you have to get underneath the stitch like so. You chain 3 and place 2 double crochets in the same space. And then in the next row you place 2 double crochets. And it's just the same pattern again. This time you just go under the stitch like so. I always add elastic to my dresses just because I think it looks better. What I do is I slip stitch between each stitch and I usually skip like 2 to 3 stitches. When I get to the end, I chain around 5, cut my elastic and pull through. I then tie a couple more knots, weave it in and cut my elastic. I then flip the dress the right way round. I place single crochet stitches on top of the elastic. Okay, I put my chain in the wrong place. The chain goes here. I use 2 threads of yarn so I don't have to go back into any chains. My chain was around 50 inches. When you finish chaining, you pull through and tie a couple of knots to secure it. And then you cut off any excess yarn. And then we can cut off any yarn ends that we weaved in as we went along. The dress is finished. This is how it turned out. She's super cute. I'm gonna try her on in a second, but I didn't have enough yarn to finish all the ruffles. This is how much yarn I had left. If you want the 4th ruffle, because most of the dresses I've seen have 4 ruffles, then make sure you get an extra skein of yarn.